Hello everyone and welcome to the Rift. Today we have a bunch of new product information to talk about. Recently they formally announced a bunch of details regarding starter decks as well as booster packs and booster boxes, and an introductory product called Proving Grounds, which is designed to be for brand new players. In this video I'm gonna talk about the information that we have so far, as well as speculate on the price of cards given the information that we do have. But first, if you want to stay up to date with card reveals, then you'd better make sure to subscribe. And if you're enjoying the content, then make sure to like this video. Alright, let's talk about the starter decks first. We're going to be getting starter decks for Jinx, Victor, and Lee Sin. They're going to be $20 per deck with the full 56 cards that you need to actually build a legal deck. They also come with a pack, so technically the deck is like 15 bucks because the pack is 5. For newer players that are either trying to get into this game or just have never played a trading card game before, I think these products are pretty good, but I think that's about where their usage ends. If you're going to be building a full competitive deck or trying to build a deck that isn't just a starter deck, I don't think you should buy these products, mainly because they say they only include 3 rares, which could mean a few different things. It doesn't say how many copies of each rare it includes. I'm assuming it's just 3 rare cards. Some people have said that UVS likes to put multiple copies of rares in their starter decks, but I don't know why they wouldn't advertise that on this product information. If the deck had like 5 rare cards in it, why wouldn't they just put that on here? So I'm gonna assume that there's only 3 rares included in each starter deck. If that counts the legend card, then there's only 2 other rares included in the actual main deck itself, which really isn't much. Basically the whole deck is just commons and uncommons, which aren't really going to be worth anything. I don't think rares are really going to be worth anything either. It's just going to be epics and alternate arts that are going to be worth any actual substantial value. So as far as like value goes for someone who's trying to build an actual deck, I don't think these are going to end up being worth it. I think you can just buy the singles that the deck comes with and you'll probably end up spending less money. And a lot of the cards in this deck, if there are so many commons and uncommons, you just won't be using in a full deck. So I'd say these products are really just for new players only, which is fine, you know, they're just starter decks. That's kind of the whole point of them. It would be nice if it included a signature spell, at least 1 copy, but that's an epic, and if these decks included epics in them, I think they would advertise that. So I'm just gonna assume that they aren't gonna include any eps, which is a little bit disappointing in my opinion. I think at least including the signature spell in the deck would be really nice. That's kind of a pretty important part of the deck. You don't really get a good feel fully for how the deck is supposed to operate and supposed to play without the signature spell. So I think if these don't include the signature spell, then that's a bit of a bummer. Next, let's talk about Proving Grounds. It's basically just the same thing as buying 4 starter decks, but for a lot less. $30 for 4 decks is a pretty good deal. I don't think the cards included in this are really gonna matter competitively. The developers have said that it does include some unique cards that aren't available in the actual set, but they've said that you won't really want to play those cards, which makes me think they're just vanillas with no effect text. That makes sense because this product is really like meant to be an introductory bare bones product that's just going to teach new players the basic game mechanics and not overwhelm them with more complicated cards and effects. This is meant to be the entry point for someone who's either never played a trading card game or hasn't played this one, even more so than the starter decks. So again, if you're trying to build an actual deck and play at least at like locals or something, I don't think this product is designed for you. It's really more for just new players. It does include 4 unique legends, which is cool, but again, I either think they're gonna be just vanillas or be underpowered or reskins of other legends that are in the set. yet. So if you're going to be playing competitively, I don't think this product is going to be something you're looking to pick up. At least that's my initial impression of it. We don't actually know any cards in it yet, so that could change, but I have a hard time seeing any of the cards included in this really making an impact in the metagame. Alright, let's talk about the good product now. Boxes. At $120 per box, it's about in the middle of industry standard right now, I'd say. Some games sell boxes for as low as like 80 or even 60 sometimes, and some games like Magic or Pokemon have box prices shooting up to the moon right now in the $200+ range or whatever ridiculous price Magic boxes are at right now. Final Fantasy is going crazy. I think 120 is decent. It's comparable to One Piece. I'm sure you'll be able to find pre-order prices for like around $100, which is even better, but 120 is not that bad. Box comes with 24 packs, and each pack comes with 14 cards, 7 commons, 3 uncommons, 2 rares or better, and a foil card of any rarity, and a token, but that doesn't really matter. Each box, on average, is going to come with more than 6 epics and more than 2 alt arts. We don't have actual ratios, of course, so we don't know the actual numbers on that, so I'm just going to assume 6 and 2 for now, which is honestly pretty good. With 6 epics per box and 24 packs per box, that's an epic every 4 packs, which is pretty good. Magic has mythics at 1 in 8 packs, so that's double. You also get twice as many rares compared to Magic, and getting 6 epics plus 2 alt arts per box means you'll get 8 hits per box. That means 1 in every 3 packs is going to have a hit in it, which makes opening boxes pretty fun. It also spreads out the value of the box over about 8 cards, which is good. Much better than the value of the box being concentrated into like a secret rare or 2 in the case of something like Yu-Gi-Oh! With how many commons, uncommons, and rares you're getting in boxes, you don't need many boxes to complete a full playset of all of those cards. We have no clue how many rares are going to be in the set, but I'd imagine there's not going to be that many, and you get like 40-ish in a box, so maybe 2.5-ish boxes is enough to have a ton of rares. You'll probably have a bunch of overlap by then too, so I really don't think commons, uncommons, or rares are going to hold much value at all or be hard to get. I'd imagine all of the value pretty much is going to be concentrated into the epics and the alternate arts. So with that in mind, we can do a bit of quick estimative math to try and figure out how much epics and decks are going to cost roughly. We can expect that at minimum there's going to be 36 different epics in the set. There could be more, but that's a good baseline to start with. 12 signature spells plus 12 epic champions plus 6 seals and 1 more epic card for each color for a total of 6 makes 36 epics that we can expect in the set at bare minimum. There could be more, but I don't see there ever being less than that from what we know right now, which means that you'll need 6 boxes or 1 case to get on average 1 of each epic. And if you want a playset of each epic, that's going to be 3 cases. The cost for a box at retail is $120 times 6 is $720 retail for a case. You can probably get them cheaper than that, but I'll just stick with the retail value for now. And if you want 3 cases, that's going to be $21.60 for, on average, a playset of every epic in the set, assuming there's 36 epics. You'll have to trade, most likely, to get all of the epics that you want. You're, of course, not going to get an exact playset of each epic. You'll have like 4 or 5 of some and maybe 1 or 2 of another. So I'm just assuming you're going to need to trade to get a full playset of everything, but that's really not a big deal. It's a trading card game, after all. You should be trading anyway. That's like part of the point. So So from that $2,160, I'm gonna estimate that you'll roughly be able to build all 12 decks in the set. Obviously, you won't have enough seals or generic epic staples to build everything, but we don't really have any way to account for that, so I'm just gonna assume you can build 12 decks out of this 1260. So dividing that by 12 gives you 180. I'll round up to 200 as a decent estimate of the average price of a deck. This isn't accounting for needing duplicates or alternate arts or anything like that. This is just a rough estimate of how much the average deck is going to cost to build. Obviously, some decks are going to be more sought after than others, so I'd give the range of deck prices to be about in the $100 to $300 range per deck. 300 being decks that require some more epics or are just higher up in the tier list, so they're more sought after. But about $200 is a good rough estimate of what we should expect a deck to cost to build for competitive play, which is not bad. It's about average, maybe a bit even on the lower end of cost for building a deck in a trading card game, which is pretty good. I think that's a decent price baseline. What could be a problem in the future is if they start printing more and more good epic cards that replace rares or commons or uncommons in decks. So over time, decks will become more and more epic heavy and thus more and more expensive. What worries me a bit is that they're printing cards like seals and some more generic epic cards like Unchecked Power or Cadrigrin or Possession or Deadbloom at epic rarity. These cards are pretty much what I would call generic staples, as generic and as staple of cards you can get in this game. So the fact that they're printing generic staples at the highest functional rarity, being epic, is a bit worrisome in my opinion. I don't think it'll matter too much right now, but again, if they keep printing more and more generic staples at epics, the price of decks and the price of playing the game overall could increase a lot in the future. Talking about the potential price of individual epics is a little trickier, I'd say, because some of the value of boxes is going to be taken up by alternate arts. At least I hope it would. This game should have a decent collector's market, so a decent chunk of the expected value of boxes and product in general is going to be taken up by alternate arts, I'd say. But as a worst case scenario estimate, let's just take the $720 that it would take to buy a case and divide it by the number of epics you get in that case. 720 divided by 36 is $20 on average for the cost of an epic card, which is not bad. Some cards, of course, aren't going to be very desirable, so they'll be towards the lower end, maybe even down to like $1 or $5 at worst. And some epics, particularly ones being played heavily in the meta or generic staples that are really good, are going to be up in price, probably towards 40-ish, maybe $30-ish, which isn't that bad. Having the most expensive playset in the game be $120 isn't really that bad. That may seem like a ton, but then you look at games like Yu-Gi-Oh, where sometimes a single card is $120. Of course, we really have no idea, and this is just all speculation for now. The game could be significantly cheaper than this if alternate arts are very desirable and the game has a good collector's market. A lot of the money in the game will be concentrated towards alternate arts instead of competitive cards, which would be really good for the game, I'd say. Having a big collector's market is good for the game, and having an accessible price point for competitive play would also be really good. I think absolute worst case scenario decks could end up being $300, as I've spoken about before. Don't really expect that to be the case because of the alternate arts. So overall, I think the game should be in a pretty healthy spot price-wise on release, at least. Again, I'm really excited for the game to come out and to start collecting and playing, but I've talked about all I've wanted to in this video, so I'll leave you there for today. Take care.